Are you getting into your senior years and wondering if age alone is keeping you from the outdoor adventures you used to enjoy? Or are you someone not particularly interested in outdoor activity for yourself, but you often find yourself enjoying the adventures of others your age? Perhaps even better, maybe you're still young, but starting to think about what your senior years might look like. Well, if any of these categories come even close to describing you, I've got some information you may very well find interesting. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my brand new YouTube channel, Adventures at Any Age. I'm Jerry, and I'm the senior camper, the guy that took off in his mid 80s for a trip across the western United States in his minivan. Now, today I'm going to be talking about that trip. I'm going to be talking about the backstory of how I got to that trip, what I learned from it, and the unexpected benefit that I got from it. And I'm going to show you a video of a recent trip I took to the Los Padres National Forest. It was a 2-day camping trip, and I think it fairly represents the kind of camping I'm doing now. Following that, I'm going to give you a little critique of the trip, and then I'm going to cover the topics that I'm planning for future episodes of Adventures at Any Age. So, going to the backstory right away. I've been camping most of my life. I started at 10. I've camped in the Boundary Water Canoe area. I've backpacked into the Sierra. I even bought a full-size van in the late 60s, converted it into a camper, and traveled around the United States for the next 12 years during my gypsy skydiving days. Years after that, I got into sailing, and for the last 30 years, I've been involved in sailing, both recreationally and professionally. Much of that is with my shipmate and partner down the west coast of the United States and Mexico, and where we spent most of our winters for about 8 years. In 2012, we moved that boat up into Southern California, sold it and bought a trawler, which is where I am right now, to live on. And that's where we've been living most of the year since. The rest of the time we spend on her family farm back in western Wisconsin. And thus we travel back and forth a lot between the two places, giving me plenty of opportunities to camp here and there and along the way. So that's what led to the decision. Her advice and my examining my prejudices, which told me that I shouldn't be doing this at an advanced age. And through that discussion, we finally got past that, and here I am. And where I am is a place where age is a factor, but only one of many factors, and actually not even the most important one. The experience of solo minivan camping for a month solidified my confidence and brought back the joy of the simple, mostly off-the-grid connection with nature that I had so enjoyed during my earlier years of camping, hiking, and skiing. It also produced the unexpected discovery that sharing my travels with friends on Facebook was as much fun for me as it was for them. In fact, it actually pushed me to do more, to take more pictures, to commit more enthusiastically to the adventure. So with that experience as a backdrop, I'm looking forward to bringing senior adventure to even more people with this latest van camping trip into the California mountains. Well, I'm heading off on a 2-day camping trip. Sun is shining, day is nice. Right now I'm driving up to a campsite that I haven't visited before, and I'm not really sure of, so it depends on how the road is going in, whether or not I go there or go to a secondary spot that I've got up in the California coast. The campsite I'm heading for is called Nira, N-I-R-A. And it's a nice little spot, looks like a nice little spot, in the Los Padres National Forest. It's about 17 miles of what may be decent road, but may be very difficult road. And when I find out, we'll either go to that site or I'll turn around and come back if it's getting to be too difficult to navigate. Heading north out of the San Ynez Valley, the roadway through gently rolling pasture land and vineyards eventually narrows and then starts climbing into the mountainous terrain of the Los Padres National Forest. Partly paved and single lane in most places, it did not pose a serious problem for the low-slung Pacifica, so my earlier concerns had really been unfounded. It wasn't long before I was rolling into the campground and was delighted to find a 79-year-old Canadian biker who had just ridden 28 miles up the same road from his camper in the valley below. After I talked him into an interesting 10-minute interview for a future program, he headed back down the road, and I found a great tree-shaded campsite next to Manzana Creek to set up camp. This campsite was close to ideal with one exception. During midday hours, little black bugs I've always called midges were all over the place and really pesky. Luckily, I had a great insect repeller called a thermocell, and when it's not too windy, it does an excellent job of driving the little buggers off. After I fired up the thermocell, putting up my little tent was a bug-free job. The tent is a new addition to my camping gear. It's quite handy on two counts. It provides extra storage area when the van's made up as a sleeper, and it signals occupancy of the campsite if I need to go somewhere in the van. It's also a great place to take a bug-free daytime nap. You know, this is that sweet time of evening. All the animals are starting to settle down. Birds are getting quieter. Breeze has died down. We're all just getting ready to go to sleep. And it really feels natural to be out here in this and being one of the members of nature that's getting ready to go to sleep. So here I am, finishing up breakfast, reflecting on my day. So as soon as I finish here, I'm going to wash dishes, get my backpack on, get all my gear arranged, and I'm going to go hiking. And I think it's going to be a pretty nice day. Morning in the campground. Looks like I'm the only camper here today. Everybody else has left. Sun's just come over the mountains. Sounds of morning are all around me. Then it was time to break camp and head back down the road that seemed much easier than a couple of days earlier. Stopping along the way, a short ridgeline hike revealed the valley below and my return to civilization. Well, I'm back again, but a little different location where I left you. I'm on a camping trip on my way back from California to Wisconsin. So I stopped off here in northern Arizona for 2 days in a dispersed campsite that I've got all to myself. 300 acres of camping, and I'm the only guy in the whole place. So I'm having a pretty good time back here. And I'm taking time to give a little critique on that video I showed you of my camping trip up in the Los Padres National Forest. And I wanted to mention a couple factors about that trip that the logistics of it. Number one, cost me $30 for camping fees. It would have been $60, but I had in America the Beautiful Pass, which gave me a half rate discount, and I highly recommend that, by the way. And it traveled about 144 miles. So that whole camping trip cost me a total of $60 for 2 days in the Los Padres National Forest. And I think you could tell I really enjoyed the whole time up there. Now, some of the equipment I used on that trip is really kind of important in terms of safety for seniors. And one of the things I particularly wanted to mention was an emergency medical kit. Invariably, you have small cuts or perhaps burns or a sunburn or something, and you need to at least take care of yourself until, if it's serious, until you can get the help or help gets to you. So that's an important part of solo camping, particularly when you're in a campsite like that where there's nobody else around. And in the campsite like I'm right now where there's nobody else around. Secondarily, emergency communications are very important. I have to keep in touch with my significant other, my partner, and she and I have a system where I let her know before I'm taking off on the trip, and then when I get to my campsite. And I use a device called a Spot. It's a satellite transmitter, and I can tell her, I can send a pre-programmed email when I'm leaving. I can set the track so she can watch my track as I'm moving along the trip along the way. And I send her a pre-programmed message when I get there so she knows I arrived safely. Now, what's superseding that and what may make that obsolete is that iPhone now has a feature where if you're out of cell phone range, you can send a message by satellite, a text message, and tell someone, and they can text you back. So iPhones may end up being the best communication in the future. I don't know. I'm using mine when I get in those locations now offline, and it works better than I thought it would. The other thing that I highly recommend is a weather radio. I got caught in at least one situation on one of my camping trips where there was a severe thunderstorm forecast for that particular area. So I was able to prepare my campsite for that storm, which came, by the way, and it was a good one. I don't know that I would have known that had I not had a weather radio, which sent me a notification that was going to happen. The other thing I recommend on any trip where you're likely to do any hiking or even walking on rough ground, take trekking poles. Trekking poles are like ski poles for walking, and they're really good for events like that. And I use them for everything, and I recommend them for everybody. I'll be doing a follow-up video episode on hiking, and I'm going to feature the use of trekking poles and some of the secrets of using them effectively. And the last thing I would recommend for safety is get a good camping app. I use Compendium, which gives me a real good idea about the campgrounds I'm going to, what kind of camping is allowed there, any problems, the reviews that other people show on many of the sites show you if there's going to be any problem getting to it or traveling there or traveling back. So I recommend that. There's several others that are also very good, and these are all safety tips, safety equipment that are important for all campers, but particularly for senior campers. Okay, we've come to the part of the program where I'm going to talk about future episodes. And the first one will likely be about the 79-year-old biker that I met in the Los Padres National Forest on that camping trip. And then I'm going to have several segments on more camping trips that I take. This one I'm doing right now will be a good example of that. I'm going to do a program on kayaking and canoeing, backcountry hiking and photography, and living aboard a boat. Those are ones that I've already got underway. There's about several others that I'm going to consider that I may do. One is buying and or modifying your own van camper, sailing by yourself, or chartering. And I'm talking about chartering not just a foreign trip and a week long, but maybe a 2-hour charter trip you can do locally. I'm going to talk about snowshoeing because I'm going back to Wisconsin for Christmas this year, and perhaps tandem skydiving. Now, I don't know if I'll do all those, but I think I'll probably do at least some of them. Now, for the sign off there, I want to leave you with one point of wisdom about my experience in the camp and starting camping as a senior. And that is, don't be afraid to challenge assumptions about age, others or your own. And I'm going to leave you with one final cliche, which is my favorite. Make sure you don't rest out before you wear out. Senior Camper, signing off. Thanks everybody for watching my first YouTube video. And if you enjoyed the video, please click this subscription button. And even better, leave me a comment too.